We are going to have a lot of fun, and if you hear a term called y'all, and you're wondering who that person is that's doing so well in the business called y'all, that means two people. But really in the South, it means two people, it means a coliseum full of people, it means anything more than one. Okay, so that's disclaimer number one. Anyway, you guys are like, teach us something, get to something good. We'll get there, and if not, you know what? You're going to leave here saying, man, if they can do this thing, being like, our goal is to raise belief. Okay, we're living proof. You can just be average, have fun with this thing, and make a lot of money. So that's what we're going to talk about, okay? So I'm going to say hey to you guys real quick, and I'm going to come back up. We're just going to kind of rapid fire some things, some thought process. And again, remember, run everything upline. But our goal is to have fun. Here's why. Because as an IBO, you don't have a boss. Now, we may never be invited back, but we don't have a boss. You can't get fired. All right, isn't that awesome? How many of you guys work a job versus owning your own business outside of being an IBO? Okay, most of you guys in here. So I am pent up, which is not my personality, as you can tell. I am pent up 40 hours a week. Give or take, around about 40 hours a week in a small cube at Bank of America. Myself and Bank of America has about 185,000 other employees, so I feel very important there, okay? And so now I'm not in my cube and I don't have a boss, so I like having fun, so we're gonna have a good time, okay? And I realized this a long time ago, that if you're not doing what you enjoy doing, it's gonna be hard for you to get good at it. Now, my personality is actually a choleric, and that was a problem for me because when I got started, I didn't care about having fun, I didn't care if you like me, we need to get the job done. But I realized from a man named that if your team's not having fun, they probably are not going to want to be around you. So after being around and reading and studying the leaders in this great system, I realized, you know what? Why not? Life's too short not to have fun. What a cool combination that you get to make as much money as you want to in this system with this business opportunity we have, and you can have as much fun as you want to have. Now, I had gone to undergrad at North Carolina State University. I had gone to graduate school at UNC Chapel Hill. I actually got out of school and became an academic advisor and career counselor, and so very much businessy. You know, but growing up being one of seven, that's not the way I grew up. I grew up kind of chaotic but fun and everything else, and I had to learn to get back to that way. And it is really cool to be a part of a business that allows you to do that. So I'm just asking you guys, give me a little bit of freedom to have some fun tonight, because I'm going to anyway. All right, on. But I got my best friend in the world. It's kind of wild. She showed up in an open meeting and was sitting right on the front row, and it was love at first sight. She just could not resist. I mean, it was... She chased me around for months, and finally, you know, I was like, well, you know, my mom was like, you know, you're not getting any younger, you know, with mother's help. And so finally I said yes, and it's awesome. We are still on our honeymoon. People are like, you know, you've only been married a short period of time. We're like, yeah. And it absolutely, our life gets more fun every day. Here's why, because we choose it that way. We choose to have it that way. We work on our marriage every day. But here's the key. We're around such great people like you guys have and the diamonds that we met backstage. Okay, well, Brian, you just met these guys. Well, I was around a lot of them at Achievers, but I know this. You don't have large organizations and large teams unless you have things right at home. But it is so cool because we're so unified. She keeps me in stitches absolutely all the time. She is the most hang-loose woman in the world, because I was a little bit the opposite way. So we have a blast in everything we do. She's going to talk a little bit about, she's going to say hello, she's going to come back up, and she is the queen of ditto delivery. You know what a cool feeling is? Now, we don't have the business a lot of the people in this room have. But it's cool to wake up the first of the month and we're already at Ruby Volume by the time I leave for work at 7 a.m. Well, it's supposed to be 7 a.m. The bigger your business gets, the harder it is to make it there on time, but that's a whole different story. On the first of the month, okay? And we have platinum organizations that the first day of the month are already over. It's called A Stress-Free Life, and she is the queen of that. She took the concept and she just said, wow, what a great way to make our lives easier. And so she's going to talk about how I'd like to take credit, but she's here tonight, so people are like, how do you do all that volume? I'm like, well, let me tell you. I don't have a clue. You know, I showed a plan and, you know, learn to be nice to people and hang loose, and she does the rest. So anyway, here's my girl. I'll let her say hey to you guys and come back, and we'll start putting it on you. How about that? Here's my girl.
Well, we are just so excited to be here and so excited for the opportunity to share with you guys. And hopefully you will laugh a lot tonight. I do know that. We are constantly laughing at home all the time and enjoying life. And hopefully we can spread some of that joy to you guys. And we're just so honored to be up here. And we are experiencing some super fast growth right now. And we're just so excited to talk to you guys about it. We're just a small part of that. But if we can just impart one little tip to you guys to help you move your business forward, to build your belief, and let you know that it is so worth everything that you're doing, that's what we are excited about doing up here. So you guys just sit back, relax. Brian has got so much on his heart to share, and I look forward to coming back up in a few minutes. So thank you guys.
All right, check that off. I talked about that already. My wife's so funny. She's like, I don't know why you even write notes. I mean, it's kind of like a security blanket. She's like, because you just get talking and you usually don't say anything that's on your notes. First thing you have to realize, that I had to realize, and I'm just going to talk from my perspective, is somebody who got started with the business team and very hard-headed. Here's why. Because it's amazing to have absolutely no income, just starting out a job and having a lot of status. Isn't that the most amazing thing in the world? Usually, don't throw stones, but usually the broker people are, the more statusy they are, the less they'll listen. And I was the type of guy that I knew everything, and here's why, because I had 2 diplomas that proved it. Of course, then I got married and I realized that that's most males, a lot of times, okay? Particularly, and I'm a little bit older than Karen. You guys are like, no kidding. I mean, she didn't ask my age, I didn't ask hers. We filled out the marriage certificate. She's like, whoa, what did I just do? Sorry. I'm actually 78 years old, but Double X is working real good. So here's what I realized, that there was a great organization there was a great system, and that the key to wealth, I don't care what you're doing, is having the ability to duplicate yourself. You guys understand that? Okay? I heard a guy, and again, don't quote, I'm a roundabout guy, so if I throw facts and figures out there, please don't email me. But I realized that the key was duplication. And I heard a guy, and he was showing a business model just a couple weeks ago. I was up in Michigan, and he was talking about Ray Kroc. You guys know the McDonald's story and Joan Kroc, and they're passed away. And he said a roundabout, and I think I have this about right, that their daughter makes $500 a day approximately per McDonald's. Roundabout number. I'm thinking if it's $1 a day, it's pretty sweet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know about up here, but down south, they're at every exit, every corner, everywhere. But roughly, last I heard, there's like 30,000 McDonald's. Now, I'm extreme. Do we have any engineers in the crowd? Anybody engineering background? Okay, you can raise your hand. Trust me, I'm not calling on anybody, okay? People are like, I don't know this dude. Kind of. Okay, I know I'm going to frustrate you because I don't use that side of my brain. I apologize in advance. I have a lot of engineers on my team, and I drive them nuts. But anyway, 30,000 McDonald's, $500 a day. But here's the key. What does she have to do tomorrow to make that money? Absolutely nothing, okay? Now, when I saw this business model, in the beginning, I didn't catch that. But the key to success is duplication, not innovation. Here's the key. The system's already in place. The Jaeger system is producing leader after leader after leader. And I use the word leader because if you could say team, you could say group, organizations. I call it leaders. Why? Because leaders means that you have a following. And you understand that if you have a group, they're going to want to have to follow you. Okay, and I realized that it was, I had an awesome upline, but really all I had to do was be a good conduit to the team, to the system. Because my idea getting in the business, because I understood this, to be successful, you have to have, in our business, there's 2 things that you have to have. I had one when I got started. That's ambition. You have to have ambition. I tell people on my team that we're not looking to teach ambition. So I'm not here to motivate anybody. Okay? Inspire some people, yeah. Build your belief that anybody can do it, oh yeah, okay? But you can't teach ambition. You got to have it. You got to want more. I tell people all the time, it doesn't take ambition to be a physician, to be a doctor. What? No. It takes ambition to get through medical school. It takes ambition to get your PhD and to do your thesis and everything else, because here's where you are, here's where you want to be. But once you're there, and I'll just use, I have a new lawyer, he just down the street in Lansing, Michigan. He saw the business model the same week he started law school, okay? Now, he didn't go emerald and diamond right off, but he completed. He went platinum, solid platinum. He's in Q12 qualification while he's in law school, okay? And he just graduated law school, and the same month he graduated law school, about a month or 2 before that, he had gone 7,500 points, okay? So I know you're busy, but, people do what they want to do. But he was in law school, but here's where he ultimately wanted to be. Ambition is being willing to do the difference between where you are and where you would like to be. The key is you're willing to do that difference. See, I have a lot of people that I work with at work, and they know I have my business. And last month, we're new emeralds, okay? So we're just new to having any extra money in the house. And I'll tell our story, but going emerald, there was no extra money. So like last month, it was like the first month we ever had extra money. Now, I've always been profitable in the business. The past 2 years, not being an emerald, but just at the ruby level, Quick Start Money, I've made close to $100,000 before we were emerald because Larry taught me structure. I'm not really going to get into that right now, but he taught us how to be profitable in our business based on our own personal circle. My wife last month was 1,200, 1,500 PV in our personal circle. But ambition is where you are, but you're willing to do something to get to the next level or where you like to be in life. I have a lot of people who work with me, and, some of them are in business, but others of them, I've shown the plan to them, and it's just, oh yeah, I need to do that. I'm coming to your meeting. Can you get me an introduction to this team? Oh yeah, we'll do all that. And then something comes up. And then next week it comes up. And I've been around long enough, I just smile and say, the difference is they would like to have it, but they don't have the ambition to go do something. If you're in this room, you have everything it takes to go diamond and beyond. Why? Because you have ambition. The only other thing you need to develop is teachability. Those are the 2 things. I tell people, here's what we're looking for. On the McGrath team, we're looking for ambition and teachability. I was very ambitious when I got started. I started showing the plan right out of the gate. I was sponsored by my cousin, who's a hog farmer in Clinton, North Carolina. Okay, now this isn't right thinking, but I judged him. I didn't really I listened to him enough to go to the meeting, and then I saw a team. I said, okay, I can do this, but I said, I'll talk to my people. Big mistake. I'm going to teach a little bit on that, okay? But I was very ambitious. I was willing to do the work, but the work alone is not the secret to success. It's smart work. How do you learn smart work? You get a teachable spirit, a willingness to learn. I had to let down my ego and say, okay, I don't know everything, obviously. But, and I'm not going to tell my whole story right now, but when I didn't have success my first year in business, okay, in the physical, I didn't have anything to show for it. And I worked hard from the time I got started in business, okay? I did not blame the business. Why? Because you guys just recognized some people. You can go to your weekly workshops that you guys had. We were down at Achievers with thousands upon thousands of couples and single people and old people, young, all different background who are very proud. If you're Q12, 1 month alone, we had couples that made, $18,000, $19,000 just this past month because they were new Q12s with the platinum. So a lot of people there were thousands of people the week we were there. But there was a week before us and there was a week afterwards. So here's why I never blamed the business or the system that I was part of. Why? Because if it's working for any one person, then the business does work. The reason it wasn't working was that I realized this, and this is where I had to lower my ego. Maybe the reason it wasn't working for me might have been because of me. Now, it may have just been I need to do more work to find the right people. You know what I'm saying? I just need to stay steady. Maybe I should actually read some of the books that they recommended that I read. But because I had a master's degree, I knew everything. See, it says magna cum laude. I have no idea what it means, but my mother's very proud. I never took Latin, okay? It means you get to go to graduate school. Give us more money. But anyway, won't get into that. So the number one thing you need to do is develop a work ethic, okay? And I'm going to go over a couple points, all right? And work. People say show the plan. I said, well, there's a little bit more work to that because if you don't have a strong, what I call A-B list, A-list are people that your brother, hey, I'm coming over, stay still, okay? I have something to show you, all right? I'm one of 7. I have one sibling who's in business with me, my younger brother. My family still I don't even tell my mother I'm here in Toronto. I was talking backstage to some of the diamonds, and my mother's like, oh, Brian, you work all day long. No, actually, I work 8 hours. Now, I'm not good at math, but that gives me another 16 where I'm not working. I know you're busy, but if you ever broke down a 24-hour time frame and find out how little you actually are at work, even if you're working 10 and 12-hour days, you're still off a lot more that you're at work. And I love doing that when people tell me they're busy. And I love the single people like me who say, I'm busy. How many of you guys have children? I know you just want to rear back and punch somebody who says they're busy and they don't have kids. It's impossible. And this may rub you wrong, but it's a fact. Okay? You're not busy if you don't have kids. I'm one of 7. My mom, I said, Mom, Helen, listen, St. Helen. St. Helen, like the volcano in Washington. Mount St. Helen. I said, Mom, listen, I'm not nearly as busy as you were raising 7 children. You lost way more sleep with sick runny noses and this and that. And I was riding over here with Lynn and I said, I'm from a big family and stuff like that. He said, oh yeah, me too. And he had a lot of brothers and sisters. And then they started telling me about, Cindy started telling me about their 6 children. I'm like, why are we talking? They've been able to build an organization with 6 children. I'm like, getting my recorder out. I'm like, tell me how to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, but you have to be willing to do the work. Part of doing the work is working on a list of names. Okay. Now, if you're new in here, I'm going to teach you a secret to this new business. Why do I call it a new business? Here's why. Because QuickStart's been around for 6 going on 7 years, okay? I believe this. It's better right now to be getting your business started than at any time. Why? Well, I was around when QuickStart launched. Okay, now listen to this thought process. At any business, it's going to evolve and change, and what techniques work, and who are we targeting, and our audience, et cetera, et cetera. I know that the target audience is becoming age-wise, lower and lower and lower. The business is very attractive to 20-year-olds that when I got started in business, it wasn't nearly as attractive to that age group based on the economy, but I think really what we have to offer. We were talking about the wave that's being created now across QuickStart. People going emerald, diamond at record paces, okay? So 2 things. Number 1, if you're new in here, and I'm talking 6 months or less, now is the right time to be, oh, Brian, you're just saying that because you're on stage. No, I'm saying that because I know it to be fact. Because it takes a couple years for old-minded people, okay, to realize really what we have our hands on with items like a Ditto, items like online tools and so forth that your system offers, all right? Now, the key is that if you're a veteran, you have to change your mindset. And that's what I had to do, is change my mindset on how fast this business can be built, all right? So if you're new, here's what I teach my new people. If you can provide me a list of names of 100 people or more, I can help you go platinum in a very short period, 7,500 points in a very short period of time. Why? How do I know that? See, if they're willing to listen and let me talk to people, your upline, your team, they know who to talk to, how to say it, how to work. They figured it all out. See, that was my problem, guys. I got started at 141 fraternity brothers on a list of names. You know what my problem was? I called them. Hey, look, let me explain this. You know how many of those I sponsored? 1. Again, I didn't blame QuickStart and I didn't blame my team, but I didn't let the team help me out. The biggest mistake I made, now here's a little secret. Work on your list of names. Here's why. Because I know that I can sit down, duplicating the plan that my upline's laid out. Here's why I know I'll get tremendous results. How many guys in here have a cell phone? All right, everybody, good. I mean, I'm from the South, so we still have to ask. Cell phone? What's that? Okay. I mean, I've done meetings in South Carolina. You talk about www, World Wide Web, man, half the room leaves, man. They thought they were coming to WWF. They're like, Goldberg's and Ric Flair's not here, man, we're out of here. So Larry always teaches you got to know your audience. Okay, so we're around educated people and everything up here. This is good. All right. I'm going to be in a lot of trouble back home. They're not going to welcome me back. But anyway, here's what I know. 2 things I know. Number 1, everybody's looking. Don't think about this business. Think about your cell phone. In your cell phone right now, how many of those people in your cell phone could use an extra 1,000? I'm not talking millions. I mean, they'd all want that. But how many of them this time of year could just use an extra $1,000, $1,500, $2,000? You know what my answer to that was? All of them. Okay? Now, number 2, this is where it gets tricky down south. How many of those people are consumers? All of them. Well, we're probably going to have a pretty high sponsoring ratio because we know that they're looking. Well, I don't know if they'll be interested in this business. Wait a minute. What do? We change buying habits, really, and we teach other people how to do the same thing. Do they already talk to people? Well, I didn't ask if they're good at talking. Do they speak? Yeah. And they're consumers. Yeah. And they're in your cell phone. Yeah. And they're going to go to bed tonight wishing they had a little bit more extra money versus a little bit less money, right? Yeah. How selfish are we not to share this business model with those people? So when I understood that and I teach that to a new person, here's one of the things that I do. When I'm getting a new person started, I will ask them, would you like me to show you how simple this business is? Yeah. Most of the time, not always, but most of the time when somebody's seen our business model, if they're younger, guess what they're doing? I'm in a business meeting, right? They're text messaging in the middle of your plan. How many of you guys ever seen the plan? Guys, you're not going to stop that. That's a fact of life. I've done follow-ups, and they don't even look. They're like listening to you. Oh, I'm with you. What are you doing with your fingers? Oh, I just sent out 14 emails. I was just telling somebody I'll catch up with them in a minute. I'm in a meeting. You know what I told a guy the other night? I said, text him, tell him to call you. Because he just sent a text. Listen, I'm just saying how simple the business is. We make it way convoluted and hard sometimes. Working with young people is awesome. You know why? Because they're talking to their friends nonstop, all the time today. We didn't. I don't know how we even organized parties. I mean, we must have done something right. I guess we yodeled or something. People showed up or something. But, they're text messaging people. I said, text your buddy. I just did this last week. Text your buddy and tell him that you're sitting down with a guy talking about making some extra money. He did. Guy texted him back. What about? I said, text him, say, call me. He called him. I answered his cell phone. I'm telling you guys, now listen, I'm not real deep, but I said, hey, Steve just text messaged you about making money. Listen, I'm working with a group of entrepreneurs. We're expanding some business concepts. Steve's looking to make a little bit extra money. I can't promise you anything, but, I asked him who he was text messaging in the middle of our conversation. And he said, one of his buddies, and he said, he was complimenting saying you were pretty ambitious. Steve, I can't promise you anything, but I'd be willing to sit down with you, give you a little bit of overview of what we're putting together. Do you know what response I get to that every single time I've ever done that? Awesome, great, thanks, man, thanks. And then I just teach my new guy that was sitting there, Steve, when he asks what's about, say, hey, I'm just getting some information. These guys are putting together a lot of different projects. I'm telling you, if you can get 15 minutes of this guy, time with this guy, you might want to take off that t-shirt and throw a collared shirt on when you meet this guy. I'm not talking coming to our workshops and seeing a whole business plan, just meeting me. Man, rolling through their cell phones just like that. They're coming to us. Man, we used to have to sit down and develop a list of names. People are carrying at 100. I ask in our workshop, I go around the room, people in there, let's say 25 and under, the average person has 100 plus names on them at all times. I've just utilized how to take advantage of that right there to help them get their business started fast. I don't get all, man, what would you like to do? Here's what I ask new people. Would you like me to show you how simple this is to get your business off the ground? See, I believe this, whether you're in this room or whether you haven't even seen the business plan yet, your biggest question is, can I do this? That's the biggest question everybody has, really. I mean, because you see it, you're like, okay, I'm kind of already doing it. I'm a consumer. I talk to people. But I don't know if I could do this business model because we build things up in our mind. Well, there must be some secret to it. Why? Because we're not used to seeing people have this kind of lifestyle. Okay? It's just what you're used to. You show this business model to somebody who grew up in a lifestyle like this, yeah, I can do that. Because no big deal. It's what their mind, their subconscious is already used to. Okay? So we help them get started like that. Now, when I'm out just talking to people, I live my life. So most of the people that I put in Business Build, I had to meet. I didn't already know them. People call them cold contacts. Well, everything's cold up here, okay? So here's what I did. I learned to make friends. And here's what I did. I'm not trying to oversimplify this thing, but the simpler I've become over the years, I'm almost dumb simple now. The simpler I've become over the years, the faster my business has grown. So if I'm out talking to people, I realize this. That person I'm talking to, regardless of their background, could use an extra $1,000 to $1,500. I try and keep it there because that's something my mind could keep around. Yeah, they'd love to be free. Yeah, they'd love to do this. Yeah, they'd love to do that. But if they have a bunch of kids, I used to think, well, man, they're busy. They probably won't have time to do this. Well, yeah, but they could really use $1,000 to $2,000. You see what I'm saying? So I had to get my mind right, and I'll talk about how I did that with association of CDs and so forth. But when I talk to people, it's very simple what I do. I have an icebreaker. I'll talk to somebody. Usually it's about their car. It's about something that they like. I do this a lot. Did you go to school down in North Carolina? You look familiar. No, I didn't. Oh, well, where are you from? I'm from Toronto, Canada. See, I've shown the plan in Toronto, Canada before. Because I met somebody, and you know what I told this somebody? I said, no kidding, I'm working with a team of entrepreneurs. They're expanding business to Toronto now. Do you ever get back up? Well, I sure do. I said, well, man, life's all who you know and who you bump into. Let's exchange numbers. Maybe we'll catch up. Now, again, do what you're up. I just keep it simple. And I know that that person's looking. Why? I don't try and, here's why I have fun building this business, because I don't try and sponsor people who don't want to be sponsored. I don't try and put people in business who don't want to be in business with me. I don't try and convince people that they need extra time or extra money. Everybody does, but if they're not ready to hear that, they're not ready to hear that. Now, what's amazing is I've had people at work, when they did some things at my corporation, I really won't get into it, but it happens at every job, where they messed up people's commission, so they came back 6 months later and took it back. Thousands of dollars. I had ladies come to me at work crying, saying, I know you're doing something else. Timing's right. I want to say, some of those people are going to be getting in business, but even after the crying, you understand that 2 days later, when it was time to go meet our business team, oh, well, I'm busy. Hey, no big deal. That used to frustrate me. It doesn't anymore. Because you know what I realize we're looking for? People with ambition. If you're here on Saturday, you fit that mold, okay? So simple stuff. You have to be willing to do the work. People say, how often do you show the plan? How do you show the plan? Well, look, you do what your upline's doing, but here's the answer to that question. Often. If you're not telling you simple stuff, man, I'm coming from the lineage, okay? You're just, keep it simple. Watch this. If you're not getting the results you want to do, I'm going to help you out with results, okay, what I think will help you out with your results. I got a little game plan that I've been taught from my upline just in the past couple weeks, and it's changed our business dramatically, all right? But if you're not getting the results doing what you're doing, one of the things you might want to do is up your activity level. I know people don't want to hear you need to do more work, but sometimes, not always, sometimes you need to adjust. Sometimes you need to read more people skill books. Sometimes you need to relate to more people. But I think all that falls under being willing to do the work. See, sometimes work isn't mechanics. Sometimes it's sitting at home saying, you know what, this book is smacking me right between the eyes, but that's something I need to hear. And I know from men sometimes we have an ego, and that's hard to hear, that maybe the reason the business isn't growing the way I want it to grow is because of me. I don't know about in Canada, but in the States, we're real good at blaming any situation we're in life on somebody else. Larry taught me a long time that if you do that, that's okay. You just have to ask somebody else's permission to improve your circumstances. See, if you're in life where you are because of somebody else, you have to have somebody else get you out of that situation. And I was like, wow, that kind of make me hopeless, really. Okay? So be willing to do the work. That's number one. All right? Phone call, show the plan often. I already talked about my follow-up, and I go into a little bit more details and so forth. But really, my goal is to say, would you like me to show you how simple this is when they've seen the plan to get your business up and running? This is me personally now. I'm working with younger people, okay? Why? Because a 22-year-old's already used to staying up all night anyway. Man, we got to go to, George, where's y'all's dream weekend? Toledo. All right, that's like 4 hours? All right, 4 hours. Older people are like, 4 hours? I got to pay, that's a 2-day trip. Went to her first conference. You know why she went? She's like, road trip. Awesome. They're used to getting in the car and driving to Florida 12 hours away anyway, 2 days. Man, look at the sunset. Man, we had a good time. Just to do it because we said we'd do it. You know what I'm saying? Man, that was the dumbest thing we've ever done. But, 2 years from now, we'll laugh about it and think of how cool it was. All right? They're used to staying up all night, doing anything, doing everything. They call this generation. I'm Generation X, okay? She's not, but anyway, Generation X, Generation Y, I guess it is. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, Generation Y is the entrepreneur generation. They know that getting a job, getting an education, and just staying there forever is not the way of the future. See, I had my boss pull me in her office just yesterday, okay? And we have a good relationship. Here's why. Because I believe if Bank of America is paying me, I need to work hard for Bank of America while I'm there. And see, here's the problem. When you read all our people skill books and you get good at working with people, I was named I'm not promoting myself or edifying myself. I'm promoting the system. They named me this past week when I was on vacation to the Leadership Council. There's like 12 people in our division. There's like 20,000 employees, and I got named to it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it. They said, we got good news. You're on the Leadership Council. I'm like, I don't want to be on a leadership. I don't want any more responsibility here, But here's what's awesome. Anything you learn in this system is going to help you in all areas of your life. How cool is that? I tell that to new people. What you're going to learn by being around these millionaires will improve every area of your life, not just your volume with Quickstar. See, I think that's a big plug for the system that we don't promote a lot of times. That when I'm sitting down, why? Because a new person doesn't want to get free. I just got my master's degree. I didn't want to quit my job. Not 2 weeks later I did, but that's a whole different topic, okay? I got around this team and I found out that you could have time and money and you could have 6 Saturdays and a Sunday. That's not everybody, but I was like, man, that'd be pretty cool, I'm not a morning person, all right? So she was sitting there and she was telling me about corporate America and, she's had 12 job city changes and she's done this and she's done that, but she just took her senior VP and stepped back to VP. I said, Cindy, you've given 23 years to this company. Why'd you do that? She said, because senior VP is the most risky place to be. My job security, even though I'm taking a huge pay cut, I'm much more secure after 23 years being a VP of the bank here than a senior VP. And I said, so you're telling me I should chase, she has no idea about the business, it gets fun. I said, so you should tell me I should be willing to do all this, but then at the end of see, they double bind themselves all the time, you know. I just let them talk, and then I just bring up kind of the, not oxymoron, or I'll sound stupid trying to say stuff like that, okay, to where they contradict themselves. I said, wait a minute, you're saying I need to do this for my career, but at the same time you're saying you're at my level in your career after 20-some years because of the risk of getting down. I didn't want that. So I was willing to do some work. Now here's what I learned from Dexter. Most important thing to work, and I'm going to get up here to talk about how we create volume with people. The most important aspect of work is this. You got to know why you're doing it. What are you trying to accomplish with your work? I'm not talking about sponsoring people. I'm not talking about putting people in business to impress your upline. I'm not talking about putting people in business so you can go emerald and die. Yeah, you want to do all these things, but you won't do it because of that. You won't do it for the money. You won't. Here's what I'm saying. You got to know, what will the money do for you and your family by doing the work? How will your life be different when you accomplish these goals? It's called having the dream. Dexter is so basic. I heard him say it down at Achievers. You got to have a vision for how you want your life to be. You have to know why you're doing it. And I think the number one key to all of this is keeping in front of you why you're doing. Why are you willing to spend a Saturday listening to us? I know some of you right now, I don't know. Okay, that's okay as well, all right? Remember hope. We're giving you hope, okay? But you have to keep that vision in front of you when you're doing the work. I'm going to have Karen come up because she is the queen of ditto. She's the queen of volume. I'm going to have her touch on these things, and then I'm going to talk about how I changed so my group actually started growing with the work that I was doing. So here's my girl, Karen McGrath.
Well, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about basically from the women's perspective of being a 100% business owner. And first of all, that's a mindset and an attitude that you've got to adopt, because you have to realize if you're building this business as a couple, you're a team. And my thought process coming in, well, I'll just kind of back up and tell you, I first got started in the business building it single. You know, I was doing all the roles. I was meeting people. I gave them my list and I let the team come in and help me. That's why I got so many people sponsored very quickly in the business and had, fairly quick success, is because I let the team come in and help me. And I was very teachable, as I was talking about. Whatever they said to do, I just went on blind faith thinking, okay, these guys are making money. I want to make money sooner versus later. And my motivation, he's talking about the dream. My motivation was, I am not a morning person either. I just wanted to sleep in. I wanted to go, I was an occupational therapist, and I had to be at work at 7 o'clock. I had to wake up at 5. And I was 2 weeks into work. I got my master's, but I was like, I can't do this my whole life. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to make it. So my dream was just to be able to go PRN, which meant I set my own schedule so that I didn't have to be there that early. And so I just listened to everything that they said to do. The team came in and helped me out, and I got really wide. But I was also working on myself at the same time. I was listening to the CDs daily. I was reading. And I wasn't doing it because it was part of the program. I was doing it to learn and to be able to apply it to my group, because I expected a huge team to come on behind me. And if you're just doing the steps just to be doing them and just to check it off your list and say, yeah, I did it that day, you're going to get smoked. So what you really want to focus on is really doing the things to learn and to be able to look for places to apply what you're learning in your business, and that is how you're going to experience the explosive growth. So with that, Brian and I, we started dating and ended up getting married, and so my role kind of changed a little bit in the fact that I took kind of more of a passive role in that I was doing more of the registrations, I was doing more of the volume creation side, focusing more on, relationships and that part of the aspect. But as you guys know, like Brian was saying, the business is evolving constantly and changing and updating, and with the new kind of age group that we're working with, girls are just as motivated and excited about actually building the business as the guys are. And so it's so exciting now to see that role change and to see my role change, and it's kind of like I'm back to where I was when I was building it single, because we're a partnership now, and with 2 people doing the work, we can progress twice as fast. And so I'm so excited about being out there and meeting people, making new friends, showing the plan to people, hosting people at our weekly seminars and follow-ups and just the whole thing. And it's kind of neat because now I'm going back to, now when I listen to a CD, it's not just I'm listening to a CD for me to keep my mind in the game and to keep the business on the forefront of my mind every day, but I do it so that I listen and see, okay, who can benefit from this CD? Who can I give this CD to that would really relate to this same situation or this couple's story, or who could this build belief with? And so it's kind of, I'm taking a more active role in the building business. So, and as far as the reading goes, I'm going to touch on my story a little bit. I got through college never reading a book. And so when I got into the business and they were saying, you have to read, 15, 30 minutes a day, I was like, I am not reading. And it was kind of funny because my upline, he was a little choleric. It wasn't Brian. I was too in-depth from Brian. He said, well, I didn't ask you if you like to read. I just said that's what you got to do to be successful. I was like, oh, he's still working on his people skills then. And so, but the point was I wanted to succeed, so I was willing to change immediately and not fight it. And so I started reading the books and really started to apply it. And one of the things that they also talked to me about was the association, never missing a meeting. And that's so important. That's one of the most important things, never ever missing a meeting, especially from a woman's point of view, a weekly meeting and, definitely the functions coming up, your winter function you have coming up. You need to constantly get around people who are stretching you and farther along in life than you are so that they can paint the picture and paint the dream for you guys and let you know that what you're doing right now is going to be so worth it. And so I always did whatever it took to stretch myself and to stretch my vision so that I knew that what I was doing was going to be worth it and paid off. And my upline tells me this quote, your ability to succeed is based on your thought process, and your thought process is changed by the books you read and your association. So if I want to live like a millionaire and have that kind of lifestyle, and it's not just the money, but have the success in my life in every aspect of my life, I have to get around people who can teach me what they know, because the only difference between us and a multimillionaire is what they know. So obviously, I need to get around them and find out what they know so that, I can live that way as well. So, and then of course, the last thing is changing your buying habits. And I've just done that right away. 100% business owner. We realized right off the bat, every dollar bill that goes out of our pockets goes to support somebody's business. How stupid is it for us to invest in somebody else's lifestyle versus our own lifestyle? And one of the ways that we've figured out how to best utilize that is what he's talking about, the Ditto program. It is one of the absolute best business tools that we have access to. It creates stability and predictability in our business on a monthly basis. Like Brian said, we have over Ruby volume in our business on the first of the month while we're sleeping. And that is so comforting when you wake up to see that stability in your business. And we use Ditto too because it's extremely duplicatable. It's very easy to teach people. We do Ditto at least 100 points on the first of the month. And so kind of what I want to go through is our getting started process and just give you some kind of tips of how we use Ditto successfully and what we do to set the stage to get the success from it. First of all, we start promoting Ditto at the follow-up. And I usually do it when I'm giving them a tour around the website. I'll click on my Ditto profile and I'll show them, I'll say, this is our primary method of ordering. And so I'll say, it's very convenient, it's easy to use, it's an auto-replenishing system. What we do is program everything you need on a monthly basis. It's drop shipped to your house the first of the month. You don't even have to touch it. But one of the things I do talk to them about is that it's totally in their control. Because the first thing I thought when they were talking to me about it was like, I don't know if y'all have them here, but those CD clubs when you're younger, you get registered in the CD club and they just keep sending the CDs to you over and over and you can't stop them and then you owe all this money. So one of the things I like to say is it's completely in your control at any time. You can change it, make adjustments or whatnot. And then too, I like to cast the vision for them. And I tell them, it's not, when your people get started, this is a business of duplication. When your people get started, they're not going to do what Ben and I do. They don't know us. They're going to do what you do. So when you show them that you have your Ditto set up on the first of the month for 100 points, they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, that means I need to do my Ditto on the first of 100 points. And then I cast the vision for them. I say, right now it's just you, but you got to think about what your team is going to be, a month, 2 months down the road. You're going to have 35 people on your team. If everybody has 100-point Ditto set up on the first of the month, you're going to have 3,500 points go through your business on the first of the month. Now, two things are going to happen. One, your volume's taken care of. You don't have to wait till the last minute of the last day of the month and be like, oh gosh, what level am I trying to hit and try to place this massive order at the last minute. Or you can just focus on putting people in business the whole rest of the month. You're totally free from the thought of volume. And the second thing is if you have 3,500 points go through, it also helps with goal setting and planning. We have 500 points the whole rest of the month to figure out a way to create 500 points to get you to the next payment bracket. Doesn't that sound awesome? And they're like, yeah. So they understand why they're doing what they're doing. The key to this business is letting people know why they're doing what they're doing, not just saying this is what we do. And so we've had excellent success with it, obviously, as far as retention. I think our stats are over 85% of our team are on Ditto, have at least 100 points on the first of the month go through. And here's some stats, too, why we are excited about Ditto. The average person not on Ditto does less than 40 points a month. The average person on Ditto does over 140 points a month. So what that's telling me is, okay, I'll need three more times the amount of people to get the same volume if I just use the Ditto. So obviously you want to work the smartest, not the hardest. And so that's kind of a tip. And also too, a person is 4 times more profitable in their business using Ditto. And you know what? One of the major things that creates stickiness in your business is quick profitability. People want to see money. Even if it's a $5 check the next month, that lets them know it's real and it's working. And so just kind of to sum up, serving people and being the right example for them builds commitment and unity in your group. And when you create a high expectation from the beginning, people are going to stretch to meet your standards because everybody wants to be a part of the winning team. But you have to, one of the key things is you have to be willing to read some books, how to win friends and influence people, skill with people, to work on your self-esteem so that you have the self-image and the proper people skills to let people know what they need to do next, to lead them to the next step. And basically to be able to cast the vision for their future so that they know, they feel and see the value of everything that they're doing. And then that just establishes the trust right from the beginning with your new IBO and sets the stage up for their success right off the bat. And so hopefully that helped. I'm going to bring my baby back up here.
Thanks, girlfriend. Here's one of the key terms I like to utilize. We are ambitiously lazy. Jot that one down. I talked about ambition, but ambitiously lazy meaning I want to do the most work I can that's going to get me the best results. You with me? So when she was talking about Ditto, when we're talking to a new person about it, one of the things that you have to figure out is obviously, and I don't want to get too much depth of it here, but when do you register people? When do you put them on Ditto? Because here's what I found out. If somebody orders, $200 worth of stuff on the 22nd of the month, it's real hard for them financially to turn around and do 100 Ditto the following month. Okay? So listen, here's one of the things. I'll set their 100 Ditto up. I don't care if it's 2 months out. Okay, at the time that they get registered. So they know it's there, we've walked through it. Here's what I found. If I leave it up to my group or even me we'll get back to Ditto later. Let's just go show the plan. What happens? We don't get back to it later. Sometimes just because the group's growing. But now talk about with new people. Here's what we found. And younger people, helping them turn a profit faster. How can you do that? Number one, with products. Down at Q12, they were talking about your own circle, making your personal circle work, okay? Now on the other end of it is helping people get started fast and putting people in their organization fast. So when I talk to a new guy, look, you got 150 people here on a sheet of paper. I don't know if you could do this, but with my help, us working together, we can get through this list in no time at all. We can easily find 10 to 12 people, 20 people, whatever, that think this is a good idea and really have the ambition to do it. Oh yeah, now think about this. You're getting started now. Let's take the next month and blitz this as fast as possible. Set up a minimum of 10 Dittos. Month number 2, you wake up, you win 1,000 PV the first of your month, the first day of the month. Now here's what I found. We've been working hard on this for over a year and a half. Easy. People do what you edify. So we edify 100 PV on the first of the month as much as we edify somebody who does 500 in the personal circle. Because we found that people do what you edify, what you continuously talk about. When we have a night out and it's anybody who's doing the core steps that we teach, okay, well it's a byproduct. My team already knows that includes 100 Ditto on the first. All right, because it's a duplicatable pattern. It didn't start off that way, just we found that people do what you teach and do what you talk about over and over again. And when you have examples on your team, we have single guys now talked about work, but obviously with creating volume, that between themselves and their customers, we help them do that. That's where Karen is very active. Now, watch this. Here's what I found guys do sometimes. Hey, baby, we got all these new people. You need to go create volume with them. Well, she doesn't know who to talk to. It's my job to go to her and say, here's these new people getting in, here's some numbers. I've already set her up for the volume and everything else so they know, and so she has a place to work versus her just trying to. That's called having a partnership. She is 100% owner of our business, and she takes on that responsibility, okay, even sometimes more than I do, okay? She stretches me big time. So a couple things that help me out that the system provided for me that it's actually helped me in all areas of my life. Now, guys, sometimes we take this system for granted. Forget about the money. Just having a system that enables you and stretches you to become a better person. What kind of price tag can you put on the fact that we have a much better marriage because being around people like you than we would have if we weren't around people like you? Isn't that cool? I mean, it's like, my family, we were pretty much raised right in good family and stuff like that. But my brother, who's an IBO, and myself, our marriage, our family life is just, there's a peace in it. Why? Because we're always working on it. Where the other, they have good marriages, but they notice. They're like, you guys just always get along. You guys just, well, we don't, okay? But we're a lot better at it. Why? Because we're a work in progress, and we know that. But what's happened is this system has given us resources to work on ourselves. See, again, that comes back to the ambition. The books and CDs are there. Do you take advantage of? See, instead of just telling people, here's what you need to do, we have to get better explaining the value of what we're telling them to do. We do Ditto, you need to do Ditto. What's it going to do for me? I'm a new person. Well, when you have 10 people, they're all on ditto, you're going to wake up the first in the month, and when your buddy says, how's that business working for you? And you say, well, I had about $3,000 worth of total sales go through my business the first day of the month, because that's what happens at about 1,000 people, $2,500 in total sales go through my business. Okay, I'm not sure the conversion rates and all that stuff up here, okay? The peso's different, I know. So anyway, yeah, I said, man, I can't be too serious but for so long. All right, so one of the things that they told me, they said, Brian, there's a continuing education program. It's there. Most of you guys are already on it, but do you understand the value of it? I understand the fact that I'm in a cube 8 hours a day. That's where somebody else has control of the most precious gift God's given me, and that's my brain. The thoughts that go in. Well, when I realized that, man, a CD a week, that ain't going to do it for me. I needed a CD a day. See, this business is a double-edged sword. See, the best thing about it is, number one, you don't have to invest all this money and buy a building and this, that, and the other. Okay? And you don't have to spend 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day there making it work. See, the downside of that is you don't have to spend 8 to 12 hours a day. You didn't invest all this money, so people a lot of times put a value on something on what it actually costs them dollars out of pocket. Well, what kind of value is it if it's only, $8, $10 for a CD? How good can it be? Okay? But I realized that 8 hours a day, somebody else has got control of my... I realized this, I had to listen to multiple CDs a day. Now, you don't have to do that, but there's not a diamond backstage that didn't. And again, it's duplication. It's like, if that's what they did. And here's what I realized. The more CDs I listened to, the more positive I became. The number one thing I got out from our continuing education program was a positive mental attitude. Why is that important? Because this won't work without one. Man, you can work like a yard dog. You can do everything right. You can even have people skills down. I mean, you could make somebody buy a convertible up here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could sell ice to somebody in Toronto, okay? You got all that down. But you have a negative attitude, negative thoughts are going in. Oh, I'm doing all this work, but it's probably not. It's not going to work. And I tried that. I tried to do this with the same attitude. What the CDs did was it kept my attitude right. Here's when you need to listen to a CD, when you don't feel like it. Here's when you need to go to a meeting, when you don't feel like it. That's the difference. Listen. How many of you guys have ever heard that if you work out just 20 minutes a day, I'm not talking about being a major leaguer using steroids or anything like that, okay? Getting huge. I'm just talking about getting your target heart rate up 20 minutes a day. If you're a doctor, you could list 500 to 5,000 health benefits of doing that, correct? Everybody knows that. Now, I'm not going to have everybody raise their hand in here who does that. I don't, okay? It's a very simple process. But you still have to be willing to go do it to succeed. Here's why most people fail. You guys understand New Year's resolutions are coming, baby. Gym memberships are about to go through the roof. Why? This is it. 2007, my life's going to be different. Well, if your life's going to be different in 2007, you better do something different than you did in 2006. And that goes in every area. If I want my marriage to be better, I got to do something different. If I want my organization to grow, I got to do something different. Okay? So that gets into coaching, all right, and getting with a mentor and asking them, what are some things you see? And that's hard for men to do. All right? What do you see? But also studying. When you're around these guys, watch what they do. Hear how they handle situations, okay? Just be an observer of people, because you'll learn as much from people doing it right as doing things wrong, too. You can learn from anybody. How many of you guys understand it's better to learn from somebody else's mistakes than your own? That's the key to this system. They've already walked through the stinking minefield, Dexter and Birdie to get 60 FAA points. They've done the most wrong. They've got the most no's. They've tried, failed, adjusted, and figured some things out. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. So the weekly CDs, I understood that I had to listen to them daily. So that meant I had to invest. It was not an expense. I had no money. 29-cent hamburgers were a godsend when they were popular a couple years ago, because if it wasn't for that, I'd have eaten products nonstop. And you guys understand there ain't but so many protein bars and meal replacement bars you can consume in a 24-hour time frame. I mean, I'm Mr. Volume. Don't get me wrong. But when you're on number 9, you're like, I love Quicks. I got to have something else. Okay. And that's right when they started that 29-cent hamburger, dude. Me and Wendy, man, you part owner? No, I'm just, visiting again. So I had to study the CDs. I had to listen to the CDs, okay, to get my mind right. Number 2 thing I had to do was read. Read. But I had to also go up line and say, what do you recommend I read? And when they recommended a book, not get offended by what they recommend. What are you trying to say? I'm trying to help you become a millionaire. Would you relax and just read a book? You know how they spun it? This is good people skills. Well, it's probably not for you, but if you read it, you'll know what to recommend to your group. So if any of you guys been told that, yeah, your upline used people skills on you. I'm like, gotcha. I ought to read this. My group. No. And by the way, quit reading for your group. Quit reading for your spouse. Quit reading for your spouse. I get this book is all highlighted already. Book came in 2 days ago. What's she trying to say here? So anyway, read people skill books. How to win friends. The art of dealing with people. Personality plus. Attitude. How I raise myself from failure to success. But it's amazing. Once you program your mind, you're going to get those results. All right? So, leadership books, 21 Irrefutable Laws with John Maxwell stuff, bringing out the best in people, Okay? So those leadership books. Now, attend all conferences and seminars. Listen to me, this all goes back to you have to be willing to be successful in anything. You want to separate yourselves from the masses of IBOs out there? How many of you guys want to do that? Here's all you got to do, is do it when you don't feel like doing it. That's it. The key to working out and getting in shape is this simple, is you go when you don't feel like going. That's why most people who join the gym never go. Why? Because they only go when they feel like going, and we're creatures of habit, and so when you're not going more than you're going, guess what happens? Eventually you're not going to the gym anymore. This business is no different. Why? Because you're the same human who joined the gym and quit as you got an IBO number. Okay? The difference is daggone, I don't want to hear no more CDs. I don't want to hear no more happy guys talking about being free and this, that, and the other. That's exactly when I got to put one in, and it's the hardest to do, but it's what separated Karen and myself. It's what separated the Emeralds and Diamonds on this team. It's what separated Brian. Here's what separated them. Doing it when they don't feel like doing it. Showing a plan when they don't feel like showing a plan. Being nice to people when you don't feel like being nice to people. This might surprise you guys. This may be wrong to say, but most meetings I go to, I don't feel like going to them either. I'm just as lazy as the next guy. I do it anyway. Why? Because I love my family and my wife enough, and I know it's the right thing to do, so I go anyway. You with me? Now, last thing is this. Attend all conferences. Listen, if you don't go, your team won't go. They're not an option to be successful. How do I know that? Because find me the Emerald and Diamond who's done it without going. That's all I tell people. I said, man, I don't want to go, but for an additional $50,000, was I willing to listen to a CD a day, read a book, and go to the conferences they told me to go to? I said, man, y'all got a lot of meetings. I know some of y'all thought that coming here. Y'all sure do got a lot of meetings. Okay? Compared to the 40 hours a week, just 1 week at work, it's all relative, right on? Okay? So, here's the one that was missing in my group. Obviously, you got to do everything with accountability and integrity. All right? When that team, I heard the team talk about that, it drew me in because nobody else talked about it. But the one thing you have to do is build trust, and you build trust by doing stuff that'll blow people's mind, just going and serving them, doing things that their family members wouldn't do. That creates unity on the team, okay? But here was the missing link for me and my team was counseling and game planning. Sitting down with somebody saying, here's where I want to be. Can you help me monitor my progress over the next 2 weeks? Just 2 weeks. Because a lot of times people, I want to be diamond in 2007. Okay? How are you going to get there? Do you have a game plan? See, and I was even good at goal setting, but here's what I had up until recently. An ego of, I know what I need to do, and I'm just going to go do it. And I had my game plan. But, that's not the way it works. You have a coach. Here's what my coach has taught me recently. One of the things I talked about was read. Another thing I talked about was doing the work. Third thing I talked about was getting a game plan and counseling, okay? Here's what he said, all right? He said, read, go apply what you read by working with people, okay? And get a game plan so we can monitor your progress and then repeat that over again. And he said, Brian, write this down, tattoo it on you somewhere, okay? This is recently. This is like within the past month. We're still in the learning process. Read, go apply what you're reading with your group and with your new people and with your spouse and with your team, okay? Go do your measure of work, all right? Let's sit down and have an ongoing conversation. See, counseling to me is weird. Coaching. You have a coach. Nobody has a coach. They're out there winging it. And that's why in the States there's a 98% failure rate. One of the guys at work that I respect, he's 20 plus years in the Navy. Then he came to work at Bank of America. He's done 15 years there. We were just looking in corporate directory and we see that now nobody, as of last week, reports to him. He didn't know that. He's on vacation. They called him on vacation and they said, your option is to take a job in Chicago, stay with a bank, or retire. He's a grandfather in Richmond. His grandchildren are in Richmond. He said, I've been married for 32. I respect the man for his decision. He said, I'm not going to lose my 32-year marriage and move to Chicago. Because his wife said, man, we're parents, we're grandparents, we're not moving to Chicago now for a dollar bill. So you know what his option is? He's got to leave. He's got to do something else. I didn't want to be put in that corner. He didn't have a coach. He had somebody at work that coached him to get him to senior VP. But I didn't like the return I saw there. I found a coach that could provide the number one lifestyle for my wife and I. I don't care what you do for money. I haven't found out there, maybe just because I'm young and naive, any lifestyle that touched the diamond lifestyle. Because you may make the money, but you know what? Listen to this. We'll get you out of here because I'm hungry. Listen, you may make the money, but you won't have the friendships like you have here. Best man in my wedding is a godsend to my family. He's a multimillionaire, but he couldn't pull together 5 people on a Tuesday night to hang out. And that's just how most people are out there. And he's a great guy. I mean, he's got a lot of friends, but he couldn't just call up and say, hey, you want to hang out? How cool is it that we get to go through a journey called life together with a bunch of like-minded people? You guys got something special here. Don't be selfish and keep it to yourself. Go give it away. Read, do the work, and get a good coach, and stay plugged in with that coach. Let's all get free together. We're going to change the world. I want to touch on a couple things that I wrapped up with, and that's fast growth. And I'm telling you, we're just catching what some of the other people on the winners team have been doing. Here's why. I had to lower my ego and understand, man, I was getting smoked by some people that 19, 20, 21 years old. We spoke at Spring Leadership, I guess was in April, and we were on stage with 5 other couples that were in Emerald qualification. Well, 4 other couples. One of them was a single guy, and works at Blockbuster Video. And Chris went to college for a little bit, but dropped out. I mean, he's like 20 years old, makes $600 a month or something like that at Blockbuster, and he was, was going Emerald with us. His upline I was with at Q12. I mean, Chris was there as well with a couple of his downline. He's like 20, 21 years old, and he's got a couple of guys with him at Q12. Hadn't been in that long, so not only does he have a group, but him and his upline, they have a machine. And Paul he'll have 500, 600 people at his dream night, and he's like 24 years old, 23, 24 years old, and he's in Emerald qualification. And these guys are just cranking it out, putting people in business, but obviously they're not just putting them in, they're creating volume with them and the whole works. And so we were like, what are you guys doing? You know what I'm saying? And what are they doing? And Mike's out in the Midwest, and he's a diamond, and he has things really cranking. Their upline was at Q12 with us, and his Emerald growth bonus one bonus from Quickstar was $93,000. It's an Emerald because of how much his business has grown from last year to this year. $93,000. He's a cop in Des Moines, Iowa, Brent Harris. He's still working. I'm like, dude, you're working because it's an adrenaline rush, because that's ridiculous. Made $125,000 in October as an Emerald because of his growth on his team. So I'm humble enough to say, what are you doing? Okay. Obviously with our upline and so forth, and they started teaching kind of this quick launch program and an understanding that you can't build any business. Okay. Let's not focus necessarily on Quickstar in the Jaeger system. Okay. Let's just focus on any organization out there. All right. The way that you coach college kids today is not the same way you coached them in the 70s. Times have changed, mindsets changed, okay? A major corporation, like I work at Bank of America, and it's the fourth most profitable corporation in the world, okay? I mean, our small department in merchant services credit card processing did $23 billion this year, okay? I mean, it is, profitability. And here's what they always preach. Number one, keep the customer base you have. That's built with relationships, okay? But how do you grow that business, all right? You don't conduct business today the way you did 5 years ago. Particularly, you guys understand the more technological advance. Now, some things never change. Serving people, building trust, building on strong foundational principles, that never changed. But I realized what I was doing to build Quickstar was working, but it could work much better today because of technology. All right, when I got in, I didn't have a cell phone. How many of you guys got in and built the business without the cell phone? Okay, you can't build the businesses today the same way, obviously. You have a cell phone. Well, how many of you guys built the business by text messaging people and so forth? Nobody. All right? How many of you guys have built the business by finding people you haven't been able to find in a while on a place called myspace.com? You guys have access to it? You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. All right. I'm very low tech, I'm telling you, but my team's not. All right. I'm catching on. And there's a number of other websites like that out there, okay? So these people have access to their people. Again, the way I got started was, build a list of names. We still do that, put together, top 20, but their cell phone's right there with them, okay? They're doing it right now. We would send them home or maybe go through a name generator. I'm not saying don't use a name generator, but while you're doing a name generator, he's grabbing a guy's cell phone and he's booked 8 plans with the guy. And you understand that just because you book plans, now this is important, just because you book plans for the guy doesn't mean that the guy necessarily still believes he can do it. But you know what? You got a place to work. That's what happened with this guy, Steve, with Jason. Jason gave us one name at a follow-up. One name. Wired. I had shown this guy, Jason, a plan 6 months earlier. Something happened and he didn't make it out to our weekly workshop. 6 months later, Larry Wheeler, the guy I was telling you about, bumped into this guy. Met him, talked about the business. He said, are you doing any work with this guy? And he's like, yeah, that's my mentor. He got all excited. So evidently that was, built my ego a little bit. Oh yeah, I'm the man. Well, anyway, Jason comes out, meets our team. Hey, good to see you again. Hey, Jason, I know some things happened, but don't worry about it. Time's better now than it was 6 months ago. We sat out with him. He had some questions and stuff like this, but I said, Jason, would you like to see how simple this business is and how fast we can get you started? Yeah. So we popped open his cell phone, and I said, out of all the people you have in here, who would you consider, I didn't say I'm going to call somebody, I said, who would you consider top 3 or 4 or 5 most ambitious people you got in there? He said, well, this buddy of mine, Steve, he graduated from college last year. Bingo. He's been working for a year. He's got income too. Because a lot of college kids, you know what I'm saying, you got to get creative. So what do you do with a lot of college kids? Help them build, who in your cell phone's in college but also working? See, if you understand working with a list of names, you get to determine who you should have planned to. See, if I just build a list of names with that guy and start calling, man, I might be showing it to the wrong 20 versus the last 20 on his list is really the people I want to be talking to. Who in here? Well, yeah, Steve's a pretty sharp guy, got a computer science degree, he's been working for a year and pretty ambitious. So I called Steve. I said, Steve, from Jason's cell phone. He answered, hey, Jason, what's going on? I started laughing. I said, hey, Steve, you probably expected Jason. I'm using his cell phone. We've never met yet. I actually own a couple different businesses here in town. We're doing some expansion, and I'm working with a group of entrepreneurs, and we're kind of looking for some key people to help us out. And Jason's just kind of getting his foot in the door with the team. I've really just met him, but he spoke very highly of you and said that you were probably looking to make some extra money outside of what you were doing. And again, Jason, hey, look, I can't promise you anything. I just met you, but I'd be willing to sit down with you, you and Jason, meet you, give you a rundown of what we're looking for, what we're putting together. Okay, yes, sir, thanks. Sat down with Stephen. Stephen comes to the meeting, never seen Jason again. I called him a couple times, where you at? Stephen, sat down with Stephen, did the exact same thing, but we worked his cell phone and got better results. We're getting him wide, and now his guys, this is just a couple months since he's been in business, but he's got just 3 guys out of all the people he's put in business. He went 1,500 PV or 1,300 PV his third month in business. His first month really just kind of got to getting started. But what's happened is he has over 1,000 PV now on Ditto the first of the month. This month he'll go 2,500. And I'm setting a mindset by March you're going to be at 7,500 PV so you can start platinum qualification. He's got a lot of college kids getting in, okay, but we've also found a guy who's graduating from college this December, who's come out and so forth, a guy named Walter. Walter's already got a job back in Richmond, 125 names and numbers, all of them either seniors in college or just graduated or have been graduated within a year or so. So they got a little bit of world system in them. They may know that, because sometimes when they're in college, they think, man, if I'm making $35,000, I got it licked, but when they've been working for a year or so, 35, 45 grand stinks, He's got another guy, Pat. Pat emailed me an Excel spreadsheet with 300 names and numbers on there. What did he do? He went to the cell phone store and had them printed off. I used to sit down with somebody, build a list of names. A couple days later, we'll get back together. A week later, we'll get back together. That guy's attention span at 20 years old isn't that long. He's moved on to something else. He's doing whatever, and you can't find him. So when I'm sitting there with him, knowing he's already built a list of names, it's on his hip. Now, I'll give him a homework assignment. Take these 25 names and numbers that you've written down or the 15 names and numbers on your cell phone. Expand out. Here's what I want you to do. And I'm checking to see how well they listen. But this is after I've already booked 5 or 6 plans for the guy. Okay, right there. This is called agreement, if they'll let you. Now, listen to me. If there's still a yellow light and they need to build their belief a little bit and so forth, I'm not saying give me your cell phone, you sap, and fighting them over it, all right? But usually they're like, I'm not sure what you're going to do, but I set them at ease. I said, I'm going to show you how simple this is to get your business up and running. Okay? So, that's with the cell phone. The other day I was doing a follow-up, and there was about 4 or 5 guys that had come out to the workshop, part of Steve's group, and we're sitting down with these guys, and the guy's sitting across the table, and he's text messaging. Now, he's listening to me back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, back in the day, I'd get mad at something. This guy's not paying attention to me. The guy's name was Barry. I said, Barry, how many people are you talking to right now? He said, 5 different people. I said, what'd you tell him? I said, I'll call you in a second. I'm sitting down with this guy talking about making money. You know what every one of his buddies are thinking? When he calls me, I'm going to ask him about what he's doing making money. Now, 1 or 2 things are going to happen. Either this brand new guy, Barry, is going to try and explain our marketing plan, or I am. But 1 or 2 things are going to happen. He's going to talk to his friends about this. Okay? See, before cell phones and text messages and stuff like that, on a Monday night you come to a workshop, you didn't go home and call your friends anyway. Their cell phones got 4 voicemails on it by the end of the meeting. How many guys, when you do a meeting, have to tell people to turn their cell phones off? Why? Because somebody's going to call their cell phone. Okay? So I said, Barry, you got those numbers in your phone? Yeah. You just told those guys you would call them when you're done. Yeah. Give me a second. I'll call you back. I said, let's call them right now. I said, dial one of the guys' numbers. I said, Barry, I'll show you how simple this business is. He dialed a guy. I said, Barry, give me a phone. Give me a phone. Give me a phone. Give me a phone. Hello, Barry's talking. I'm like, oh, man. Hey, I'm sitting down. Hey, what's that guy doing? Well, I'm sitting here right now. It's called a warm handoff. Hey, I'm sitting down with this guy right now. We're talking about money. Hang on a second. So when they say, what is it? I'm on the other end of the phone. Here's what I tell a lot of young people. You can use your own lingo and so forth, but what are people that age used to? Internships, apprenticeships, stuff like that. All these college kids are looking for internships, okay? So here's what we found works real well. This is just some of the lingo we use and we found it worked real well. I said, this is, David, I'm sitting down with Barry. I'm the one talking to him about making some extra money. I'm working with a team of entrepreneurs, and we're putting together some new classes and so forth. And hey, a couple years ago, I had the opportunity to do an entrepreneur internship along with what I was doing in graduate school. These guys have taught me how to make some money and own some different businesses. And we're putting together some projects here in Richmond. Looks like we might bring Barry onto our team to get him plugged into our next internship program we're putting together. You know what I'd be willing to do? I'd be willing to sit down with you maybe 20 minutes or so and give you a rundown of what Barry's taking a look at. Maybe I can get your foot in the door with these people. Yes, sir. Thank you, man. If there's anything you could do, when can we get together? What do you do? I don't get any of that. I don't get any. Well, what are you doing? What are you? Hey, thank you, man. Yeah, that'd be great, man. Because guys, life's all who you know and who you meet. I use that all the time. Said, Barry, hey, look, life's all who you know and who you meet. I had an opportunity to meet this business development team, and they were putting together an entrepreneur internship program. And here's what they taught me. They taught me an 8-step program, not only how to make money and to think like a business owner, but they taught me skills that put me a level ahead of everybody else I was working with at my job. Ooh, people love that one. They love that. They absolutely love that. Okay? Because life's... What? Okay. I got to make that up again. That was on the fly. No, I'm just kidding. When I'm sitting down with somebody, okay, here's one of the things that I tell them. Say, look, through my cousin, I got my foot in the door with a group of, sometimes I say millionaires, a group of entrepreneurs. They were putting together some business projects, and actually what they were offering was an entrepreneur internship program. Life's all who you know and who you meet, and I got my foot in the door with these guys, and here's a couple of things they taught me. They taught me really how money's made. You guys promoted the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and passive income and stuff like that? Absolutely. That's one of the things I learned, is how wealthy people make money. So they taught me how money's made in America. They showed me some business models, how I could do some revenue sharing with some major companies out there. Okay, but they taught me, and I'm using y'all's lingo, okay, ours is a little bit different, but you guys, the Jaeger system teaches an 8-step, okay? They taught me an 8-step program that not only made me more marketable to these companies, but what it did was it helped me out in areas like my job. And because Barry, life's all who you know and who you meet. And I was able to meet some entrepreneurs, some multimillionaires that taught me an 8-step program that made me, I'm telling you, Barry, when you learn our program, not only are these guys going to teach you how to make money, but when you go for your first job interview, or when you go for your next promotion at your job, you will smoke the competition because of what these guys will teach you. So they come to our system. They come to our business team eager to learn. They come with their ego down versus what are you going to sell me versus, and the mindset is what can I learn from you guys? And isn't that the way we would like everybody to come in? Because see, here's the deal. If I'm just moving products, what in the world do I need to read a book for to get somebody to take double X? You understand that? So we're really using that. We're speaking the lingo of young people, okay? Now, here's one of the things. I don't consider myself old. But I also understand to somebody 20 years old, I might as well be 46, 56, 66. It doesn't matter because if you're in your early 20s, anything over about 30, 32, is old. Because think back when you were 20. Didn't you think 35-year-olds were old? Sure. Okay? So here's what I found. You guys got to change your mindset. Okay? Not everybody, but I had to change that is a huge advantage. A huge advantage. Why? Because they're going to listen to you 10 times better than they're going to listen to their 22-year-old buddy anyway. When I talk about, man, I can get you in, not only can we get your business up and running, but let me tell you what else I can do. In January, we have what's called a Dream Weekend. There's going to be multimillionaire after multimillionaire after multimillionaire speaking. I can get you around these people. It'll blow your mind what they can teach you. I'm not putting professors, this is what I say, I'm not putting professors down, but I never met a professor who was a multimillionaire, and I paid thousands of dollars to learn from them. There's obviously something different that multimillionaires know than I know, okay? And the older you are, the more they listen to that, okay? But it's not that I have to be hip to all their lingo, and I don't want to be a nerd and try and, say, yeah, I listen to the same music you listen to and stuff like that. You understand that can be weird if a 45-year-old tries to be 20. I mean, come on. When you were 20, you could see right through that, okay? But what I do is I'm familiar enough with things like MySpace. I'm familiar enough with text messaging to know that these guys are talking to their buddies. As soon as they walking into meeting with you, they're talking to their buddies. Walking out of talking to you, they're talking to their buddies. So they're going to talk about this business. So the key is if you know they're going to talk about this business, you better jump on that right away. Okay? So all you got to know is know that fact. You with me? You don't have to be 21 years old to know that. You just need to know that that's going to happen. Now, here's what I do know. With this business today, with things like Ditto, with Excess, with the cool product, Quick Start, they've done their job of getting products out that attracts younger people. Okay? The average age getting in this business now is in its early 20s. That's a fact from Quick Start, not my fact. Why? Because they can build this business model. If you were in business, how many of you guys were in business before Quick Start launched? Okay. Me too. All right, Karen wasn't, but watch this. They could build that, but they had to be a special single person, okay, with handling all the stuff that you had to handle. Well, you guys know the tools that we have available lines up with what they're teaching. Again, Generation Y, they call it the entrepreneur generation. They're watching things like MTV Cribs, okay? They're seeing the lifestyle of people like I don't even want to say names like Britney Spears and stuff like that, but it's a fact, okay? They see what athletes are paid. Where do athletes make their money? In endorsements. What do? I make money the same way Tiger Woods makes money. What do you mean? Well, Tiger Woods made $8 million playing golf. He made $80 million wearing Nike and driving a Buick. Now, Nike is cool, but there ain't nothing cool. Sorry, there's nothing cool about a Buick. But wouldn't you drive a Buick for a couple $1 million? Yeah, you're daggone right. You know what's cool about excess? The more money they pay you, the better it tastes. It's good anyway, but do you understand that? Would I drink that for an additional $50, $60, $160,000, $6 million? You betcha. You know what I'm saying? They understand that, all right? So again, with everything I'm doing, my focus is I know this, that this business is going to be built by young people. There's a couple that are in their late 20s. They're in diamond qualification 5 years after they saw the plan. Larry down at Q12, he was introducing people at his Night Owl that have been in business 3 years. Now they're in their early 20s, been in business 3 years. And after their first year, this one guy from Philadelphia had no business. He had one leg. He's got 9 legs coming into function. He just went Ruby last month. The average age of his entire organization is 22 years old. Now think about this from a business owner standpoint. They got 10 to 15 to 20 years of still left in them of being psycho, driving on it. Karen was used to road trips, staying up all night anyway. Man, you got a young person who left here, who's fired up. He didn't go home and go to bed. He's going out trying to talk to somebody about this thing. Use that to our advantage, okay? And understand this, too, that you don't have to be, I'm going to use a term, you don't have to be down with the 20-year-old, okay? But what you have to do is say, look, here's what I can do for you. I can get you around these guys. Utilize the fact that, man, if I call from somebody's cell phone and I say, look, I'm part of a business team. I'm part of a team of entrepreneurs. We're putting together some business projects. Do you understand? If you're in your 20s, don't throw rocks at me. But if I got that phone call, I would expect somebody older versus younger to show up to show me the business plan. That's what I would expect. I wouldn't expect some 25-year-old that's part of this, a team of entrepreneurs that are expanding business. And man, when his buddy's like, look, I can get you in the door with these guys and so forth, it's just lingo that's common. I can tell you again, some of the things that I'm teaching my guys that we don't have a chance to call them on the phone right then. Here's some of the things we're telling them is, listen, your cell phone is going to ring tonight. Yeah. You want to know how to get your buddies interested in this? Yeah. All right. When your cell phone rings, what do you typically say? Well, I typically say hello. No, you don't. What do you mean? I say, dude, what's the name? Adam. When Adam calls you, is Adam your buddy? Yeah, man, he's my boy. So when Adam calls, you don't say, hello, Adam, how are things going? No. What do you say? Oh, well, dude, what's up? What is a typical conversation? What are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing this weekend? I don't know, man. What do you want to do? Is that a typical conversation? They're like, yeah, that's a typical conversation. I said, if you'll change 1 or 2 sentences, you'll have everybody in your cell phone wanting to see what you're doing. You'll get a 100% success rate if you'll listen to me. I can show you how to make money fast and be very successful if you'll listen to me. Okay, well, what do I got to do? Watch this. If Adam calls you and you answer the cell phone and Adam says, dude, what are you doing? If you say something crazy like, man, you wouldn't believe it if I told you, what's Adam now going to say? What in the world are you talking about? And I'll give them just a couple key phrases. Well, man, Adam, life's all who you know and who you meet, right? Yeah, dude, what are you talking about? Man, I just was introduced to a team of entrepreneurs who are putting together some business projects. I might be able to get my foot in the door and be able to do some work with these guys. They're taking on some new people for an entrepreneur internship, and I'm just excited about having the opportunity to work with them. That's it, period. They ain't saying nothing else. I say, if you say anything else, I'll know it. How will I know it? Because they won't want to sit down with you. If you'll stick to that, you're going to call me with 10 people who want to see what we're doing. So, well, how did you meet these guys? A friend of mine or James or whoever it is getting me, not that they've already seen the plan, they may have, but is getting me an introduction to this team of business owners, team of millionaires, whatever you want to put into that, okay? And that's it. I teach them that. Say, here's what I'll do. Hey, Adam, here's what I'd be willing to do because you're my boy. They're speaking their language. Adam, you're my boy. Here's what I'm going to do. I'll pass your number on to these guys. I'll hype you up to them. Maybe they'll give you a call and let you sit down with them as well when I catch up with them. That would be awesome, dude. You'd be the man. And here's what happens. If I don't call Adam soon enough, Adam's calling this guy back saying, man, is this guy going to call me? Did you get me in with this guy? All day long that happens. We have people coming to us now to see the plan versus us calling them. Do you want to see what's going on? Oh, no, man. What are you doing? Because if you can get me, I might be able to even enter. I don't know how many people are looking to help them out. What are they doing? Well, they're doing some things online. I don't really have the inside track on everything, but I do know this. These jokers are making some money, and they're putting together an internship program. And dude, I'm telling you what, life's all who you know, and hopefully I can become part of this internship program. When I call them up and say, Adam, this is 9 times out of 10, he's already told them about me. Because he called them. They're going to talk to their list of names, particularly their A-list. Yeah. I was calling. Listen, I don't know what Steve's told you about me or about our team. Who knows? But here's what I'd be willing to do. I'm extremely busy. I have a limited amount of time, but going on Steve's word, I'd be willing to sit down with the 3 of us, go over some concepts, see if we see eye to eye about making some extra money. He was telling me, you're definitely looking to make some extra money. I never have anybody say, no, I'm not. Okay? So I'd be willing to sit down with you. I can't promise you anything. Who knows? We'll just go from there. How does that sound? I have this time available or that. Same booking that you guys are already doing. We had these guys, those 4 or 5 guys I was doing a follow-up with right before I went to Florida for Q12. While I was at Florida, they followed up with those 4 guys. Actually, I followed up with this guy, Larry. I had to leave. I said, Larry, there's no sense in me calling the people because I'm going to Florida. I had 14 of these 4 guys. A week later, it was 14 of them came to our weekly workshop. Everybody he sat down with showed up. They had 100 people showing up, coming to meet our business team to see if they can get in on what we're doing. You guys understand why I'm saying this leg number 5 is going to go 7,500 points. So in a sense, it's going to be a 9-month from 0 to 7,500 in 9 months. Okay? It's not record pace, but it's pretty cool. It's a lot faster than my first 3. No doubt about it. All right? Now, and here's what I also know, that using that, when these 3 guys who graduated from college and so forth have given me, I sat down with Campbell Haig. He's my upline diamond at Q12. When I sat down with Campbell, I said, look, here's why this leg's going over, man. It's a done deal. What are you talking about? Tell me a little bit about what's going on. I said, I got 500 names and numbers of 20 to 23-year-olds. They're either in college, senior, okay? Big difference between a freshman and senior, or they've already graduated within the past year or so. I know with what we're doing, me alone, I could get that leg over. Rolling in there. Now, when I got Larry and I got Steve, and once you guys know this, all it takes is 4 guys duplicating, showing a plan in there, and that leg's going to go 7,500 points. 4 to 5 people, that's what I always heard, okay? That when you have 4 to 5 people in there duplicating, showing a plan, well, we can get people up to speed so much faster. And here's what happens. Their belief goes up. They have a very, very, very short attention span. You guys who have people 18, 19, I don't want to sound like an old person, but it's shorter than when you were 18, 19, 20 years old. Do you understand if you watch TV today, camera angles are moving all around, and do you know why they have to do that? Because they can't sit still and just watch television. They have to be changing and this, that, and the other. It has to be boom, 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 or they'll lose interest. They'll be on to something else. They'll flip the channel and everything else. It's the same thing here. So we realized to keep their interest, we had to help them see the business working faster versus slower. How fast? As fast as possible. No doubt about it. And it's a win for you, the upline. You guys all know that, okay? Because you don't know if this person you're showing a plan to is going to do it, but somebody on his list of names is going to, and the faster you can find that person, the faster they win, the faster you win. I don't want to create any confusion, but I'm telling you, man, it's incredible how fast it can grow. And then while you're working with them, you've got them 3 or 4 legs, then they're on MySpace finding their other buddies and this, that, and the other that they haven't seen in 5 years. They can find them like this. I'm still looking for buddies that I graduated with, man. Who knows where they are? They ain't on MySpace. Good luck finding them. So really, their cell phone's got 100 people, but really their sphere of influence, they can find and it's natural. See, when I was getting started, it wasn't as natural to call somebody you hadn't seen in 5 years. Today, it is more natural. Here's why. Dude, I just found you online. Everybody's doing that. Hey, good to hear from you. I haven't talked from you in years. What are you up to these days? Well, I'm doing this, but here's what I'm real excited about. Matter of fact, you're in Toledo, Ohio. This team I'm working with is looking to expand up into your area. What are you doing these days? Oh, I'm working here. I'm a computer programmer. I tell you what, man, I might be able to get you an introduction to this business team. They're helping some people in your field make some significant income outside of that. Well, what are they doing? I'll have these guys give you a call. We'll catch up to speed. Give me your number. We'll call. We'll touch base. That's happening tonight. They may not be talking about business because they're not IBOs, but they're touching base with people because you can find anybody out there, which is awesome. The key is they're using today's technology to build the business so much faster. I was building it slow. Why? Because I was building it with an old mindset. What I had learned in technology was hurting me because my friends were talking to people before because I was waiting to get back with them 5 days later to talk to them about the business. All right, talked to 19 people about this. You did win yesterday through text message and phone calls. I'd like to be there to help them out. Now, last thing is this. Here's what I teach people. When I'm done with my business plan in the meeting, I know this guy got 4 messages on his cell phone and 2 text messages. If I don't prepare them walking out of it, they're going to try and explain the business plan. And so I'll mention just that. Most of you guys in here have gotten 3 cell phone calls and 2 text messages while I've been talking. You try and explain what you just saw over text message, it ain't going to work. The key is duplication. We're going to get back, the person who invited you is going to get back with you tomorrow, and they'll show you how to put this business in front of your friends. Give us 24 hours, and we'll show you how easy it is to get your business up and running. We have what's called a quick launch program. That's what I just explained with the cell phone. All right. We have a quick launch program. When you get together tomorrow, say, hey, I was talking about this quick launch program, how you can make money real fast. If you're interested in making money faster versus slower, ask them about that, and they'll explain it to you. And I send them on their way. Because if I don't, I found they're going to talk to their buddies leaving that meeting. I didn't talk to my buddies. Why? Because I didn't even have my phone connected in my house, more or less a cell phone when I saw the plan. I mean, it was another expense. I never called anybody anyway. What do you need a phone for? Okay. Everybody met at the same place on Thursday night, so that's how you caught up with people. So times are changing. That is a blessing. That is huge. Use it to your advantage, okay? And you're going to absolutely, that's why you got to forget how long it's taken you to get to whatever level you are. I don't care if it's diamond. I'm telling you, this is truly a 2 to 5 year business plan now. Here's why I'm more effective showing a plan. Because when I show the plan now to somebody like Karen, I really believe I'm showing them a 2 to 5 year business plan. My belief's higher. And guess what? It comes through. Even in spirit, it comes through. That I know I didn't do it that fast, but if they'll let me coach them, I can help them do it that fast, which is pretty cool. So anyway, fired up. Hope that helps out. Hope I didn't create any confusion. If I did, call Karen. She'll fix it all. You guys rock, man. This has been a lot of fun tonight. Thank you very much, guys.